Uh, are you streaming?
Yes. Yes, I am. I am streaming.
Where's the intro?
The intro is coming right up. Yeah. So just hold your little horses and you'll get that intro. The coffee cups are just like floating. Coffee above all.
Oh, yeah. I did not think of those coffee cups.
Yeah, well, you know, we've made some additions to the set.
Yeah.
Some vital additions.
And they made an appearance in the intro, apparently.
Yeah,
so
it's part of living a BePrimo life is adding a little coffee. I wish we had some of that in real life.
Yeah, no, it's a bit late for that, which is segues right into our topic. What are we talking about?
Routines and setting yourself up for success.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, well, we keep doing these live streams at a late evening, and it's not good because we're basically get tired and wiped at the end of the day. And it's the only time, we've just sort of like didn't plan it out and just started doing it. But now we realize that we just get a little winded and it's not producing our best work when we're tired.
Right.
So going forward, we're going to do these a little bit earlier, maybe an hour or two.
Yes, that would be ideal. Well, yeah. And it's hard because, we work all day and then we come home and, it's like you're tired from the day and then you have to make sure you eat dinner. And for me, at least, I get up at 6:30 in the morning, which is, in my opinion, quite barbaric, but I still have to do it. And so, 9 p.m. is like, oh man, it's getting late.
Yeah.
So, for us and then anybody else who's looking to do a sort of side hustle, how can you set yourself up for success so that even despite, the less than ideal schedule and maybe lifestyle that you're living now, how can you still set yourself up to accomplish the things that you want to achieve?
Right. Yeah. Well, okay. So do you want to jump into it? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah. So, I mean, you already mentioned this before, but for us at least, one of the things is, okay, let's have a concrete time as when we're going to stream it, because we know that once it gets to 9 p.m. or later, just the later it gets, the more tired we get, the more our brains just sort of like phase out and are ready to go to bed. And so, it's like we also have to eat dinner and everything. So it's like 8 p.m. seems to be a pretty good Goldilocks zone time where where it's like, it gives us enough time to like for me to get home, for us to have dinner and sort of get settled in, but it's not so late, whereas we're too tired to do anything. So I think one of the things is an 8 p.m. start. The other thing is doing as much prep work beforehand, before streaming and talking, as possible. And this is for, any sort of project or goal that you might have or side hustle, is do as much of the prep work beforehand as much as you can, because then it just takes, a big weight off your shoulders or your chest when you don't have to do everything all in that one moment. It's like, okay, no, I've got some stuff ready, and we're good to go.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you don't want to fight an uphill battle, right? And when you don't do the prep work up front, and it's just like starting to cook, you're going to make a mess. Mm-hmm. Not that I would know anything about that, but it's, but you do have to have the ingredients to make a good meal. I do know that. All right, that's yes. I
you know that at least.
Yeah. So like you can't start doing something and then put your you want to put the odds in your favor. If you're going to do it, don't be tired.
Right.
Yeah, so that's something that I think definitely became apparent this week as we've set out an intention to stream how many times a week? 5 times a week. Mm-hmm. That it's at 9:00 is probably not a good time to do it because we're both getting a little tired by then and not our most creative selves.
Right, for sure. Another thing that I would say is really important is even if you're not feeling your 100%, to still just be committed to your goal and to just do it. Like, we neither of us really felt energetic and ready to stream,
Say
but
the
it's
least.
like, I know, yeah, yeah. But it's like we have a goal that we want to hit, and we need to be committed to it because it's like if we want to make any sort of headway, like, yeah, we're going to have to start somewhere, and it can't be perfect all the time, and especially not in the very beginning. And the only way to get better is to keep doing it. So that's why we are here right now. Here we are.
I agree. And I remember one of the first times that we were going to do this, and we started at a later evening, just like we have this entire week. I think it was on Sunday. I think we were doing the test. And you said, well, no, I said, I was like, oh, it's late. I'm tired. Maybe we should just, chill. And, you were like, no, we're doing this. All right. And it wasn't like a great.
Right.
But that's so important, right? Like it's important to just start it. And even though, we weren't like super prepared, but you know what? We did the stream. It worked. It was private, obviously. We did it just to test out our software, test out our, connection, and test out our programs on our end. And did you hear that?
Yeah, that was the coffee tea pot thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Oh, more coffee. Thank God. But like, that's where I think having a accountability, right? That's where having a partner, having an accountability buddy, having somebody like a coach is so important because the other person can pull you, even though sometimes you might not be feeling like you would let yourself off the hook. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, oh, okay, and your friend or your accountability or your partner just says, no, we're doing this, we made a commitment, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, and you'll get moving, even though left to your own devices it probably would have been it's time to slack.
Right. Yeah, having accountability buddy is super important, and it doesn't even have to be a partner, but just somebody who can check up on you either on a daily or weekly basis and be like, hey, so what's the progress you've made today? Because then when you actually have to report it to somebody else, you're like, if you didn't do any progress, you're like, ooh, awkward. And it's like a good extra motivation. Yeah,
absolutely. I have a coach, and I used to talk to him daily, but we've had a hiatus for about a couple of weeks. And Yeah, he kicked my ass on the phone today. He's like, hey, you know what? Why don't you, sort of give me your vision again, what we're up to, what we're here to achieve. And that conversation, I wasn't ready for that conversation. And having him reflect back to me the accountability, the promise that I made to myself, and in the area of business, in the area of starting this channel, and he goes, he basically left me like thinking and clarifying and focusing in on what's important, what needs to get done, and it was basically a serious call, and I'm going to be a lot more sharper tomorrow when I speak to him. And it kicked my butt. It kicked my butt because it's good to have an accountability buddy that, whether it's a coach, a partner, or a friend. It was also very important in, if I could think back of going to the gym, having a gym buddy. Mm-hmm. It's like one of the most important things to have. It's like whenever the social aspect of doing anything new is one of the most important aspects.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge factor, is the social aspect of it. And yeah, I think it also helps too in the sense of you, like when it's something that's new. I don't know like about you or anybody else, but I can sometimes feel a little I don't know, like embarrassed or like nervous or unsure about something, where it's like, oh, I'm not very good at it because I've never done this before. I'm really new at it. And so that sometimes might be enough to convince me to just not do it because I'm just going to embarrass myself. But then when you have like somebody else there with you, it makes it a lot easier. Like even if you do look silly doing something, when you have somebody else there with you, it makes it a lot easier to get it done.
Yeah.
Cool.
I agree.
Very good. Very good.
Okay. Any neck? Where are you going?
Oh, sorry. I was scratching my neck. The camera doesn't exactly pick up on that.
So what other things about routines, and setting yourself up for success can you think of?
Off the top of my head, not much right now.
tracking progress.
Oh, yeah.
Tracking progress. Yeah. I think the biggest thing, and I think that goes together with having goals, right? You have to have, and this was my conversation with my coach today. He was, he was very focused on, asking me about my goals, and basically having goals, having a thing you're aiming to achieve, and then tracking progress as you're making, either measuring how far or how close you are from that, and what it's going to take to get to where you want to get to. Mm-hmm. And tracking also forces you to, whether it's in a journal or if you're working out, I mean, it's just like a weight, you'll be able to see like, hey, I'm able to do this weight. But if it's something that we have to get a certain amount of videos up or, produce something, is to write it down in a journal, and then at the end of the day, review it, and then at the end of the week, review it. You have an account, of what you've done, and it forces you to confront that. If you did really well, you could appraise yourself very positively. Mm-hmm. But if it's if you didn't do that much in terms of an output, like for our channel for January, then you appraise yourself poorly.
Yeah, I think tracking is super important. Tracking, and then also taking a step back and reviewing re-reviewing your goals and the progress that you've made so far, and just seeing like what it's like, okay, here are the, I'm tracking the goals for this week, but I'm also taking a look at where does this week fit into, my larger vision as well. And is this larger vision still the direction that I want to take? And does it still make sense for me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that is massive. And that goes in part of, setting goals. And constantly reviewing it, right? It's one thing to say, hey, I have a big vision, and I want to achieve it. But it's another thing to actually, day to day grind it out, right? It's not going to be achieved. I mean, if it's anything worth doing, it's not going to be achieved overnight. And it's going to take some effort to, put things together and get things rolling. And you might not even see, success or, quote unquote success. It's going to look like a grind. But that's why, reviewing it and tracking it is massive. It's massive.
Yeah, and celebrating the progress that you've made so far and gearing up for the progress that you're going to make in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that another important thing as part of, I guess, like your routine or like keeping up the momentum for what it is that you're trying to achieve is also like, again, reminding yourself and connecting with your reason of why you want to achieve these things. Because that's where, like the like passion and motivation is going to come from. Passion. That's what I meant to do. There we go. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Pat, the reasons when you're going through the routines, it becomes, you could forget why you're doing something. And 100% connecting with what drives you, whether it is a need for something big and, grand, something that you want to achieve, or whether it's something like you want to move away from and not have in your life. Like, for instance, a boss. But yeah, like for me, I was in sales before and I really hated having a boss. I liked sales. I liked the process, but I really don't like having somebody, tell me how to do something. Especially with sales, you're motivated by commission. So that was a big motivator for me to say, hey, you know what? I want to do things on my own. I want to be in charge. And so it's connecting with what you're moving toward and what you're moving away and what drives you. Yeah. Finding that fuel. And for some people, I think for a lot of people, it's going to be a negative thing. But for a good, amount of people, it's also going to be something positive. And I think you need a little bit of both.
Yeah, definitely. All right. That was just the note that I had. I mean, like, I agree completely with what you said.
Very good.
And yeah, I guess that's the main thing that I've been trying to focus on recently has been like, okay, what's, why is it that we're streaming? What do I want to achieve through this, and why is it important to me? Yeah. Not having a boss is a nice little motivator. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah. Well, I'd love to hear. Well, Lindsay, we need to do a little subscribe. Yeah.
Thing. Why don't you do
have
that?
A little bit of that. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Boom. Look at it.
Now wait a minute. It's a little.
You're right there.
Nice.
Yeah. Take a look at that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm looking at it.
And do what it says. All right, very good.
Well, I really enjoyed this. This was a short one, but I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with these too. That's the other thing is, like, hopefully, you know, whatever it is that your big goals are and your dreams, hopefully it's something that you enjoy doing. So it's not, you know, if anything, you're at least having fun, even if you are like exhausted, and you don't have a lot of time to do everything all at once. Hopefully you're at least enjoying the process, because otherwise, is it really worth it?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed this. Do you want to do a little outro? The same thing as an outro for us. With the music.
Oh, just the thing all over again? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah. Let's go. Let's let it roll.
It's rolling. It's rolling.
One more time. Hit it again.
Here we go. Little coffee cups just hanging out.
Oh man, that is great. That is great. All right. Well, how often are we going to be streaming? We're going to be doing this every day, Monday, well, even Sunday through Thursday, yeah?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And sometimes, I mean, it depends where we are with followers, but we're going to do eventually a Q&A, a longer Q&A with a super chat. But for now, we're just doing this just amongst the two of us.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, hopefully we'll have guests and things like that in the future.
Oh, we'll definitely have guests. And maybe even have them call in on the,
big screen.
Yeah, on the big screen. Well, we're gonna be fixing up the set too, right? We're gonna
change the set, redecorate.
Things are gonna be moving around.
Add some more color to the set. Maybe get a window, and then get some guests for the screen.
Very good. Very good. I like it. I really enjoy it. Okay. Well, it's late. We got to get to bed.
Yep. All right. Signing out.
Remember to be primo. Remember to subscribe.
Yeah, let's hold on.
Hit that little notification button.
Yeah, hit that subscribe.
Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like. Share the stream.
Yeah. All right.
Don't be stingy.
Yeah. Spread the love. Okay. Ready?
Okay.
All right.
BePrimo. Bye.